Have you ever watched someone yawn and suddenly felt like yawning yourself? You might not even be tired. You could be completely awake, focused on something else, and then someone across the room opens their mouth for one huge yawn, and somehow, a few seconds later, you are doing the exact same thing. It feels almost contagious. But here's the strange part. You did not catch a virus, nothing touched you, and the other person did not tell your body to yawn. So why did your brain copy something that another person did? And the answer gets much stranger when you realize that yawning is not just about being tired. Think about what usually makes you yawn. Maybe you are exhausted. Maybe you are bored. Maybe you have been sitting still for too long. Those explanations make sense. But then someone else yawns and your body suddenly joins in. Sometimes you can even yawn just by reading about yawning. Which raises an obvious question. If you were not tired a moment ago, what exactly triggered the reaction? Your brain is constantly watching the world around you. It notices faces, movements, sounds, expressions, and actions. Most of the time, you do not consciously think about any of this. You simply see something happen, and your brain processes it automatically. Imagine someone suddenly reaches for a glass. You do not need to consciously analyze every movement. Your brain recognizes the action almost instantly. The same thing happens when you see a person smile, react to pain, turn their head, or make a surprising movement. Your brain is extremely good at recognizing what other people are doing, and sometimes observing an action can influence your own behavior. Yawning is one of the most famous examples. But why would this happen? Why would the human brain have a system that makes one person's yawn more likely to trigger another person's yawn? One possibility is that contagious yawning is connected to the way humans respond to other people. We are social animals. For thousands of generations, survival depended heavily on paying attention to what other people were doing. If someone suddenly looked toward danger, you needed to notice. If a group started moving, you needed to understand why. If another person became alert, frightened, or relaxed, that information could matter to you. Your brain evolved to constantly monitor social signals. And this system does not always wait for conscious thought. It can begin reacting before you have fully explained to yourself what you just saw. That may help explain why contagious yawning can feel so automatic. You do not think, interesting, that person is yawning. I should now initiate a yawn. It simply happens. But there's an important detail here. Scientists do not have one simple answer that completely explains contagious yawning. If someone suddenly looked toward danger, you needed to notice. If a group started moving, you needed to understand why. If another person became alert, frightened, or relaxed, that information could matter to you. Your brain evolved to constantly monitor social signals. And this system does not always wait for conscious thought. It can begin reacting before you have fully explained to yourself what you just saw. That may help explain why contagious yawning can feel so automatic. You do not think, interesting, that person is yawning. I should now initiate a yawn. It simply happens. But there's an important detail here. Scientists do not have one simple answer that completely explains contagious yawning. Different studies have suggested connections with social attention, empathy, familiarity, arousal, and individual differences. The effect also varies from person to person. Some people seem to catch yawns very easily. Others rarely do, and that makes the phenomenon even more interesting. Because if contagious yawning were just a simple reflex, you might expect everyone to react almost exactly the same way. But human behavior is rarely that simple. Your brain is not just responding to the movement itself. It is interpreting the person, the situation, and everything surrounding it. Think about someone you know well. A close friend yawns. You notice it. Now imagine a complete stranger yawning on the other side of a crowded room. You might notice that too. But your reaction can be different. The social context matters, your attention matters, your expectations matter, and your brain's individual wiring matters. This is why researchers are interested in contagious yawning. It gives scientists a small, everyday example of something much bigger. Your brain is constantly processing other people, even when you are not deliberately thinking about them, and yawning is only one part of that story. There is another strange possibility. Maybe the most important thing about contagious yawning is not the yawn itself. Maybe it is what the reaction tells us about attention. Imagine you are deeply focused on a video game. Someone beside you yawns. You might not notice.